Hello, everybody, and welcome to the D-pad. Welcome to our May hangout. I've got much more dramatic lights going than normal. I usually don't. I usually don't quite go with all the stuff, but figured I'd throw it on today just for kicks. Hopefully, let me go ahead and fix the volume there. One day I will have this thing set up so that I have a very fast, like, one button solution for this, or just separate mics again, or something. But we have arrived once again at the end of the month. Here we go. Holy cow, my glasses are filthy. Jesus. I feel like I look horrific right now. These lights are not doing me any favors. Yeah, here we go. Better. Better, much better. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, we have gotten to the end of May, almost at the halfway point of the year. About to get into the summer pretty soon. It's funny. I'm gonna pull it up on the side here just so I can keep an eye on it. But the Splatoon epilogue just went up. It's been uploading since like 5 a.m. And it only just finally cleared, like, all of the processing and checks and stuff. Super irritating. I was kind of hoping to have that be like a during the day thing, and then be able to have people watch it throughout. I actually made a joke at one point. I made a joke in the thing that was like, maybe if there weren't other things going on, I would try to push this live at like 6:57, 6:58 p.m. because that's where the video cuts in real time. The night of the server shutdown on the Wii U, so that if anybody wound up watching it straight through, that it would be more or less in real time with that. I had debated briefly whether or not to make it a YouTube premiere just for the gag, and I'm like, let's not. That seems silly. Let's keep the YouTube premieres for, specific things, and Star Force. Star Force gets the premiere pass. Granted, that's the Battle Network and the Battle Network and Star Force games have long been some of our best performing stuff. So I'm not overly surprised. Actually, I'm curious. Yeah, they routinely wind up doing better than our average videos. Whoop whoop whoop. Oh my God, there we go. Oh no, hello. Depend what browser you're using, because I use I'm switching over to Firefox, which also seems to be having its own issue. But I switched away from Chrome recently to Firefox, and neither of them do my favorite version of. Well, so Chrome has this neat feature where you can mute a whole website, so that anytime you go to that website, it's automatically muted, which is great for various stuff. When it's like, during the Ocarina randomizers, I muted YouTube so that if I had to look up a video, it wouldn't blast sound at anybody while I was looking stuff up. But Firefox doesn't have that. Firefox, you have to mute tabs individually, and like it's. I wish there was another way of doing it. I don't know. Firefox also is like just getting into doing tab grouping and stuff, and it's like there are some features that it feels like they're very behind on. Not to mention that Mozilla seems like they are halfway into the grave right now, which is really unfortunate. But there's a part of me that would be interested in Brave, but the guy who runs the company is just a huge piece of shit. And I can't. I'm not gonna like fault anybody for it, but it's definitely one that I'm like, I can't do it myself. It was the video that was muted, not the tab. Gotcha. Well, that's interesting. I guess so. YouTube usually retains whatever the last audio settings you had on a video before you open a video. It'll hang on to. At least Firefox is the browser that uBlock works on, and as long as that's true, it'll be my best. Yeah, what am I using for mine actually? I'm using, is this uBlock? It might be. I might also be just using uBlock. Uh, I believe that's uBlock. Yeah, uBlock Origin. Um, which has been pretty solid so far. It's actually been very, very good. Granted, Chrome also seemed to be doing pretty well with the ad blocking software and stuff. I didn't have too much trouble with that either, but yeah, unfortunately, I don't remember the specifics, so I don't want to like go and make like particular claims, but I know at the very least, I think I want to say the person behind Brave was like a big like Trump supporter and like putting company money towards it and stuff or something. I don't remember 100%. Like I said, so don't take that as bond or anything, but it was enough stuff that I just kind of like just shut it out of mind basically, and was like, nope, I guess I'm not using it. But yeah. So if I sound a little bit low energy, I definitely was up late last night doing what was left of the commentary for the Splatoon video, which involved a lot of talking in a row. And like usually I'm doing a lot of talking for like regular streams anyway, even the long ones. Like so the last Brawl stream on Wednesday was a pretty long one. I think it was like 5.5 hours, something like that. And that was one where, I talked pretty much the entire time. But when I'm doing like video game streams and commentating my like along with whatever I'm playing, I definitely have like breaks in between. And I'll focus on something and I'll kind of keep quiet while I'm trying to get something done and all that. But for the Splatoon video, it wound up being basically nonstop commentary. It was very much a solo podcast episode kind of deal, which for I think it's 7 hours, 7 hours and 8 minutes in total, minus like half an hour to an hour, I forget how much, of commentary from the original stream. But so like at least 6 hours is a tough ask, especially for a game that doesn't have like a continuously evolving set of stuff. Like if I was going to do solo commentary over like A Link Between Worlds or something, like if I was just going to do post commentary over our Let's Play of A Link Between Worlds, I would have plenty to talk about, both between, just stuff that I know from the Zelda series, my own experiences with the game back then, and also there'd be, new enemies and new bosses, new areas, new items, all sorts of stuff to be talking about, like, as new things. Whereas with Splatoon, especially Splatoon 1 multiplayer, there comes a point where you're mostly out of new stuff from the game to talk about, unless something very interesting happens in the fight. So, a lot of rambling, a lot of stream of consciousness. I hope people wind up enjoying it. The first hour is a bit of a doozy because I was doing some of that while I think suffering from caffeine withdrawal. And there were definitely like for the first 2 recording sessions that I had for it, I was like actively trying not to fall asleep, not because the game was boring, but because my brain was just like shutting down on me. It was bad. Is it actually 7 straight hours of Splatoon matches? It is actually, in fact, 7 straight hours of Splatoon matches. With the caveat that as time went on, there were definitely points where it got harder and harder to matchmake if the group was looking for new players. It definitely got harder, for sure. And yeah, the last Brawl one is a pretty big one. That was the one that we did all the versus matches. I feel silly because I left the one thing that was still kind of on the table at the end there was the swimming goal, just because, and like we might just wind up getting it otherwise. But it was just very funny because it's like all the other stuff that we have to do is like the boss battles mode, subspace emissary, trophy stand stuff, multi-man brawl, and that's kind of it. Actually, they're extremely difficult challenges, but it's a very small number of things left to do. And actually, I'm happy because I was worried that we were going to be. I mean, not to say that we're not going to be in Brawl for a while still. I think we are, but I was expecting that we were going to be in Brawl for like another 3 months, and it's totally possible we could be. But I feel like if we are patient and resilient, it might be more like a month or maybe 2. It really, I think the thing it's going to come down to the most, aside from I have to do a 100-man brawl with every fighter, that's going to take a long time. That's going to actually, that all by itself is probably going to be minimum 2, maybe 3 streams, just because 100-man brawl, if I recall correctly, tends to be around 15 minutes. 15-minute melee and 100-man melee were very similar time a lot of times, and I have to do 100-man brawl. So if I have to do that for all, was it 35? Because it's 3 times 9 plus 8 on the bottom because the random is in the way. So I think that's 35. 35 fighters. Why do I keep thinking it's 37? Maybe because Zelda Sheik and I wouldn't count the Ice Climber separately. Does anyone else transform? Am I like losing it? Oh, no, Zero Suit Samus I think is a fully distinct one there. So I don't know, but if each of those is 15 minutes and I did it on my first try, we're talking 9 hours, right? So I may have to figure out, probably not for 100-man brawl. I think there's enough going on in 100-man brawl that we'll be focused on that, but completing any Smash game other than 64 seems like such a massive chore. Yes. Yeah. Funny part is, so 64 was like almost nothing. There was barely anything to do for 64. I don't even remember what we did when we came back to it. I think I just did a one-off stream and that was it, just because I wanted to cover it again. And I was just like, here's what we can do, I guess. Melee was a lot, and was mostly pretty straightforward in the stuff we had to do. I think we only wound up doing like 9-ish streams, maybe 10, which sounds like a lot, and it is, but 40-ish hours for all of that. 100-man brawl isn't trivial and losing sucks a lot. Yeah, that's the thing too, is I've tried doing 100-man brawl before, and similarly to Melee, the enemies do definitely, like, some of it's just you take more damage as you go, but like the enemies start hitting harder, and there's a whole lot of likelihood of losing right before the end. So there's gonna be a lot of repeats. It's gonna get stressful. We'll do the best we can with it. That's probably the most truly time-consuming part of what's left. I think that as an individual goal, I'll say, I think that it'll take less time to clear intense boss battles, which is a harder challenge. I think it'll take less time to do that once than it'll take to do the 100-man brawl 30 whatever times. Just because I expect there's gonna be a lot of repeats on both. That'll be interesting, actually. I wonder which will take longer. Just even thinking it through right now, it wouldn't surprise me if I wound up having a whole stream of attempting the intense difficulty boss battle and not getting there. And annoyingly enough, unlike with Melee, where we left I think 2 challenges on the floor. We left 2 challenges on the floor in Melee. Let me pull it up real quick. I have it handy. There it is. Yeah. Oh, sorry, 3. There were 3 challenges. Clearing classic mode on very hard with a stock of 1, clearing adventure mode on very hard with a stock of 1, and clearing all-star mode on very hard. So all 3 of them very hard. They're all also 1 stock just because of how they work. Like all 3 of those we kind of left on the floor because they don't get you anything material in the game. They get you the like notices. They get you the little ba-dung, and like you see the you did the thing, and that's it. There's no trophies. There's no nothing. The bummer here is clearing boss battles on intense difficulty gets you a trophy. There's a trophy that's stuck behind that. Clearing a 100-man brawl with all fighters, there's a trophy behind that. Defeating 5 enemies in Cruel Brawl, there's a trophy behind that. And clearing and defeating 10 enemies in Cruel Brawl, there's a sticker behind that. And I believe it is the only place you can get that sticker. It is, in fact, it appears to be the only scripted sticker left in the game for us. We have a decent number of stickers left to go. I actually wrote it in the... Yeah, we're at 3/4. We're at almost exactly 75% for both trophies and stickers. So we have 135 trophies left to go. Most of which, the vast majority of which are just random trophies. So like Coin Launcher will get us most of that. We have 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's interesting. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So 26 trophies are scripted, like they are like specific things you have to do to get them, which means that the remaining 109 are just go grab them. Stickers, we have 174 stickers left to go, and only one of them is scripted. So 173 we could get from anywhere, including the Coin Launcher, because you can get stickers there, and including Subspace Emissary, which I think might be what I dive in on next. I don't know. I'm on the fence because we got the President sticker, which will help with trophy stands. I was putting off Subspace Emissary as long as possible because I figured increase our chances of getting those stickers, and then we'll have our best chance at getting those trophies. But it's really Emissary, boss battles, multi-man brawl, and that's essentially it. There's also prizes for collections like hidden songs or trophies or stickers. We have yet to get any. There's a bunch of notices for when you get all of the trophies and stickers from a given series, like a given console, and we haven't gotten any of those yet, but I think we're getting close on a couple of them. But yeah, we're getting down to the nitty gritty where it's where now we're like, okay, we are gonna have to do some very specific stuff. Things you can do is clear every spirit battle without using spirits yourself. Doesn't get you anything but a higher score, but it's honestly really fun. I mean, I might get into that. I've actually been working on. We have oh my god, we have the 3DS Smash game. I now have the full checklist complete for that. Wii U, the checklist for that is also ready, and I've been tinkering away at the Smash Ultimate checklist. There's a lot that I have to do there. But what's interesting is, so I think for that one, so for Melee, Brawl, and I think for 3DS and Wii U, I'd have to double check on this. The general gist is, for Melee it was get all the trophies. And there were other things you had to complete in order to get the trophies, such that getting all the trophies equals 100%ing the game. With Brawl, it's do all the challenges, because doing all the challenges also gets you 100%. There's a challenge for getting all the trophies. There's a challenge for getting all the stickers. There's a challenge for getting all the songs. 3DS and Wii U, I think, is basically the same. Ultimate doesn't have that. Ultimate does not have that. Part of the reason for that is that trophies and stickers don't exist anymore. And in fact, there are only 2 things that are really collectible in Ultimate, and those are spirits and songs. So I think what we're gonna probably, what I'm thinking we might do, I'm gonna do some digging just to really double check on this. But what we may try to do, at the very least, we're gonna do all the challenges, because there's the big challenge, like all the set of challenges on there. I would love to try to get all the spirits, get all the music as well. But there's over 1,000 of both. So we're going to see on that. Granted, there's 544 trophies, 700 stickers, in Brawl, and we already between the two have collected 935. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. My worry there is that it might just get very repetitive in Ultimate. But we're going to see. That's part of the reason I put the checklist together so far ahead of time, is that I can kind of figure out what makes sense as a 100%ing criteria. But that's also a little ways off too. Once we're done with Brawl, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games before we get back to Smash again. So 7 games before we get back to Smash. And then we're doing 3DS and Wii U back to back. And then we have another 6 games before we get to Ultimate. And then we have another 6 games after that. So Spirit's pretty tame to get, just kind of tedious. Lots of checking the shops and refreshing Spirit boards near the end of it. Yeah, that's the thing. The good news is, because the save file has us having completed World of Light and defeating every spirit there, that's a huge big first step on that, for a few reasons. One, it gets us a big chunk of those spirits right away. It also clears a bunch of challenges. I have to double check which challenges we've cleared and which ones we haven't. It also opens up the dojo, the gym, and explore, which can train up spirits. And in fact, there's some challenges that revolve around those that we probably already did. But so shock how many spirits are in the board only. Oh, are in the the spirit board or the World of Light board? I assume you mean spirit board. Because yeah, there's a shitload that's where I think that's where all the DLC ones wind up too. And they added hundreds of DLC spirits. So yeah, that's going to get kind of interesting, figuring out how that's going to work in terms of rhythm. And if there's like refresh shit we have to worry about, then you'll have to go all the DC spirits probably as well. Those can be good boons too. Some are very unique in what they do. All right, cool. If we have to alternate between Smash and the next Kirby game to allow stuff to like refresh, or like we're doing kind of 2 things in one night, then like that's fine too. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 6 games after Ultimate anyway. And at least one of them is going to be a full like second playthrough of sorts. And some of those are going to be a pretty huge amount of grinding. So yeah, there's going to be some time at the very tail end of this, So I had to get one of every spirit, which meant doing World of Light up to the Dark World portion twice, because Dracula and Marks can be enhanced, and I wanted both versions of each. So don't do that. Yeah, I'm not worrying about enhancements. The only spirits I'm going to enhance are the ones that because enhancing gets you a new spirit, right? Because like Marks becomes Mark's Soul and stuff like that. Because I would have to get those, but yeah, no, I though that said, one of the challenges is to start New Game Plus in World of Light. So in the worst case, if I need to do some amount of replaying World of Light in order to get some spirits that are missing, then I'm already going to have a reason to start a game anyway. I think literally all you have to do is start New Game Plus. They don't care anything else about it. It's just start New Game Plus and you're in, and then you're like, okay, cool, I guess we're good. But it is nice to get back into Smash again. Doesn't care if you still own Dracula Marks for completion, just don't worry about it. All right. Fair enough. But yeah, so I think I want to say there were 1,528 spirits. Which, if that's the case, no, never mind. Hello. What up, Carnium? What up, Pete? Hello. Yeah, no, it's nice. It is nice to get back into Smash, even though we've now had our 2 easy streams. Very tedious on the Target Smash side. That one was a little dreary. The versus mode one was at least a little more interesting. Now we're back into like heart-stopping challenge territory. So yeah, exactly. Start a new game. You literally start a new game, hit the map, go back, and I believe you've cleared the challenge and you're good. So that'll be nice. I I have yet to actually check the what I'm probably going to do is one of these nights coming up, if there's some night that I'm either not doing something, or if I, am streaming and I just want to like cool down or whatever, I'll probably grab Smash Ultimate and walk through the list of spirits I have and the challenges unlocked and the sound test area to see what I have, just to get a sense of how far along we are already. Because it's not that I would change my mind if we were further back, but it would certainly make me happy if it was like, okay, you got 1,528 spirits to get, and you already have 500 of them. It's like, okay, that's a pretty big ass chunk. I don't think we have that many. I bet we probably have like 250 or something like that. Maybe not even that much. Yeah, exactly. It'd be nice to know like where we're at already and kind of go from there. It is nice to know that for Brawl we're already 3/4 of the way there. With music, we're actually even closer. We're only missing 30 songs out of 258. We are almost exactly 8/9 of the way through that. And honestly, the CDs actually turned up enough in like versus mode and stuff that there's a slight chance that we don't have to do any farming for CDs at all, which would be incredible. And even if we do, I think what I'd wind up doing, if we get through the other challenges, and or hell, maybe what I do if the next time that we go to do Brawl, I'm not necessarily in the right mind space for doing insane boss battles. One, I'd probably just do Subspace Emissary because that's frustrating, but at the very least, it's just bite size enough that it's easy to kind of like switch gears or whatever, as opposed to the boss battle and Multi-Man, which are both like gauntlets. But I'd probably spend a bunch of time on the coin launcher for one. You can't get CDs there, so what I would probably wind up doing is do the CD generator in the match then, and kind of see where we're at coin launch for a bunch of it. See if we can clear out some of those random trophies and stickers. Because I have my list. Yeah, the lists are starting to get a little bit teeny. I'm trying to think where the best place to do the 300 feet of swimming is, because it's got to be laterally, right? I'm trying to think where a good place to do that would be without like it being an issue. Like you could do it on Toon Link's ship, but it is moving and stuff happens and it's easy to just die there. So I don't know. We'll figure that out. That's a pretty unimportant one though. That's one that I could arguably I think swimming in subspace also counts. There's not too many stages with water. Yeah, there's only like 4, something like that, because there's also there's also Delfino Plaza. Is Great Bay in there as one of the melee stages? And then is there even a 4th? Does Electroplankton have water? Well, it has around 600 spirits. The initial playthrough, you guys got all of them. Okay, cool. Wow, that's way more spirits than I thought. But yeah, we cleared every single battle in World of Light. So that's good. So just based off of that, we'd already be 40% of the way through spirits. That's cool. The water is... Damn it. Oh, did you just fall through that one? I couldn't remember. That's a bummer. So yeah, not a lot of options for water in there. So we might just have to do Toon Link or just Subspace or something. I'll have to check also. I'll have to turn on the game and check. I don't know if the game actually tells you how much you've swum, how far you've swum so far. Because if we happen to be close to it, then that's an easy enough thing for me to just knock out at the start of the next stream and just be like, yep, we're good. But we have 135 trophies left to go. And I want to say, I'm trying to remember how many Trying to remember how many trophies are visible at a time on the display that we have, because I think we're down to about a dozen that are not visible on our little tracker. But after that, we will be down to all visible trophies, and they'll slowly start to zoom in and shit again. But yeah, having 600 means we still have about 1,000 to go. So it makes it easier, but it doesn't make it nothing, obviously. But that's a ways out. It legit might be a year out for all we know. Especially, we're going to have Smash for 3DS and Smash for Wii U back to back. Those are going to be some interesting times for sure. Do I have all of those in the same place on here in my notepad? I do. Yeah, let's see. By my count, there are over 700 trophies in Smash for 3DS. Oh yeah, we got to collect all the special moves. All the headgears, Smash Run powers. It's going to be a lot of Smash Run. I hope people are ready for fucking Smash Run. Oh yeah, here's the big list, because the milestones are good for this. Oh yeah, we're going to do classic mode with fucking everybody. 685 trophies before the DLC. Because they don't count anything that's DLC based does not count towards any of the like milestones and achievements and all that in there. No, we never beat Master Core. Oh well, we beat Master Core. We never beat Master Fortress. Master Fortress, I think we only managed to get like a good like 3-ish attempts on, and we did not beat it. So that's gonna be definitely in the challenge. I think. Let me double check. It's funny, there doesn't seem to be any actual in-game reward for that. That can't be right. Is there really no in-game reward for beating Master Fortress? That's wild. Oh yeah, I had to for Wii U. I don't think there was a section for this for the 3DS, but for the Wii U, there are now a handful of functionally impossible milestones to get. Arguably, depending on how like Pretendo and stuff like that works, they could be hypothetically possible. But there's a couple of milestones dealing with the global Smash Power rating and tournaments. Those are obviously not doable anymore. Yeah, I don't see Master Fortress in any of this. Now, granted, I think there's a few of these that would imply it strongly. Like the number one challenge in the entire list for the game in Wii U is clear classic mode at intensity 9.0 without losing a life, which I think would inherently involve Master Fortress. So there are ones that incidentally include Master Fortress, but there's no reward for Master Fortress on its own. And yeah, I think clearing, yeah, I see that one on here. You get the Regal Crown if you clear classic mode at intensity 7.0 with all fighters, which I don't know if I think that's probably easier slightly than the intensity 9.0 challenges, but like those are also going to be brutal. Absolutely brutal stuff. So there's some difficult shit in there, and we're going to be doing those back to back, 3DS and Wii U. So shout out to us like a year from now when we get into that, because those are going to be some difficult streams for sure. Starting to get stuff together for the Metroid Prime series. It's so funny because, like, by virtue of having said a while back that it was going to happen, it's I haven't made like an official trailer for it or anything, but I plan to. But it's the first time I think I've ever made a trailer for something that everybody knew was going to happen anyway. I just like to put some flash and flare onto it, I guess. I guess the alternatives are like we always do some kind of anniversary stream, and we always do some kind of Extra Life charity stream as well. But for those, what we're playing is also still a mystery until we say so. This is one where it's like everybody knows what is being played and when and for roughly how long. So maybe it'll surprise a couple folks who just engage through YouTube and don't watch the other streams or something. I don't know. It'll be funny. Oh yeah, the Switch 2 comes out next week. 6 days, 5.5 days really. From now, the Switch 2 will be arriving at our doorstep. I'm in fact just out of sheer neurotic panic. I'm gonna go reload my order page just to be 1,000,000,000% sure. Fantastic. Still there. Good. We did ours. I did mine through Walmart. So we are allegedly. What's happening with that is it's going. I'm gonna switch it to this side. There we go. That's better. So I can look this direction and not have to like do a lean. Allegedly, Walmart is set up to do day of delivery first thing in the morning. I don't know that I've ever heard of a situation where they're like, "Oh, you will get it by blank a.m." through one of these, but allegedly they were saying Walmart is gonna have it in your hands by 9 a.m. on launch day. We'll see how it goes. Plan on trying the day before GameStop pre-order. If that doesn't work, then I'll yep. Yeah, there's also, that's the thing. Target and GameStop both seem to have, and other retailers too, seem to have gotten like a whole bunch of extra shipments in. So they're like, we will have physical ones, just not that many. So absolutely try your luck with that if it comes down to it. Some retailers canceled some of their pre-orders. Yeah, there were definitely some that were canceling orders. Unclear exactly why. I would imagine it came down to stock at the time or something. It would be my guess, just kind of out of nowhere. Mine is still up. Like, I just refreshed it. It's still there. I was also one of the first people jumping in, I mean, just in general, on Walmart. And the store that I'm getting mine from, I guess mine isn't necessarily coming directly from a store, huh? If it was tied to a store, though, I have to imagine I'd be like within the first 5 people to have gotten in from the nearest Walmart. Hopefully what they were doing is canceling scalpers orders. I hope so. That'd be nice if it turned out that they were figuring out ways to like track IP or something and verify that someone's ordered like 3 or 4. Scalpers have really fucked up a lot of the industry at large, huh? Really a lot of damage done by folks who just want to make a quick buck. And then, of course, there are some folks who got their hands on the system early, which, play stupid games. That's all I'm saying. If I wound up with one of those in my hands early, none of you would know about that until the system was discontinued. I don't think I would tell a fucking soul that it arrived early. Obvious difference being sometimes people wind up getting a pre-ordered system a day early. That's obviously a different story, but and hell, yeah, if ours turns up on Wednesday night, great. I'd probably try to do the unboxing right then and there just to not to put it up that day. I'd put it up the next day, but it would give me a chance to edit and export and have it look nice and crisp and well edited and all of that stuff in time to put it up like 9 a.m. Thursday morning or something. So I don't know. It'd be nice if that winds up happening. Then cool. I'm not expecting it to. I'm also not expecting the system to actually show up at 9 a.m. on Thursday. I'm hoping it does. That'd be a fun surprise. I'm not expecting it though. I actually have to figure out who is gonna be here for that. That weekend is interesting. I've actually got a baby shower that I'm going to that Saturday, and the actual day of is Sarah and I's anniversary. So like, the Nintendo really picked a rough, very specific date and week to be dropping this console for me. So, oh, and also Summer Game Fest is next week, or I guess actually, yeah, I think it starts Monday or Tuesday, and it's running for like a good week or two. So it's gonna be a busy fucking June on that front. I need to see if I can keep an eye out for the schedules as they update and change, and see what we are gonna do live like reactions and stuff for. Because like I'm not gonna do it for everything. I literally couldn't. Everything would mean streaming all day every day for like 2 weeks, and I cannot do that. But I'm gonna pick and choose a couple companies. If Sega's doing one, I might do that. If Capcom's doing one, I might do that. I don't think Nintendo specifically has a slot in there, but I know that there are Switch 2 games that are being announced. Oh, I have to decide whether I'm going to put myself through the misery of another PlayStation or Xbox showcase. Most of those have been very disappointing. I think the last one from Sony was pretty good. There was one fairly recently that I watched and did a live reaction to that was actually like, okay, this is pretty good. They finally are like figuring their shit out. But I don't know. I don't know that I really care to watch the Microsoft one in general right now. Sony I'm a little more ambivalent towards, but we'll see. I'm trying to think what other companies. I wonder if I can find this real quick. Because I had someone had posted a link. Yeah, here we go. Let's see. Like tomorrow is the Horror Games Award Summer Showcase. I'm not going to do that. State of Unreal, skipping that. Best Indie Games Summer Showcase 2025. It's 11 in the morning. I don't know. We'll see. It looks like it's only an hour. The Mix Summer Game Showcase 2025. Like I don't know what half of these things. Like it sucks when it's so broad that it's hard to know. Shack News E4 Indie Showcase. I don't know what that is. Accessibility Summer Showcase. That's cool. Summer Game Fest itself is next Friday at 5 p.m. Next Friday at 5 p.m. Well, you know what? I don't have anything scheduled for that Friday, so maybe that'll be. I guess that'll be a thing that we do that Friday evening, 5 p.m. Eastern. Day of the Devs is right after that, so maybe from 5 to 8 do all those. Devolver Direct. I don't know if Devolver Digital. I don't know if I want to stick around for it at that point. If I've already been doing 3 hours of stuff. Wholesome Direct, cool. Women-led games, cool. Latin American Games Showcase, cool. Southeast Asian Games, cool. Future Games Show, Summer Showcase. Green Games Showcase was at the same time. That's annoying. Frosty Games. Xbox Games Showcase, no thank you. Outer Worlds 2 Direct, I haven't played the first. PC Gaming Show. Death Stranding 2 on the Beach game premiere. What a weird title, by the way. Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. It's a very odd title. And then that'll be kind of the closing thing for that. And then Gamescom is in August. So, yeah, I don't know. There's a couple of those that I might check out. At the very least, I'll probably do Summer Game Fest and Day of the Devs. The rest of it, though, I don't know. it's tough because it's like, on the one hand, yeah, it'd be very cool to check out all the indie fare, but there are literally several days that are focused on broader category indie development stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know if I could do like 4 consecutive days of that without. Uh, it's the downside of, if we had a separate editor, then perhaps that wouldn't be such a big deal. If we didn't have an editor, I think, like, if we had a separate editor, I think I'd be able to do a lot more in terms of live coverage of stuff and in terms of like writing in general. But me being the editor, there's a bottleneck there, and sadly, I do not have the money to be able to afford getting somebody else to do our editing. So alas, that's all right. One of these days, we'll figure something out for that. Put that back up there. There we go. But yeah, Switch 2 is coming out on Thursday. I've got a couple things in mind and planned for it already. There's a few different games that we're going to cover for it. Actually, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I think it'll be an interesting time. It is very expensive. That stuff has jumped up in price quite a bit. I don't know that that's going to change anytime soon. Not for Nintendo, not for anybody, unfortunately. Which is a bummer. It's a bummer. And on the one hand, I'm upset and mad about that. But on the other hand, I do also know that mathematically we've probably been eaten pretty good on that front for a while. So it's hard to get like really upset about it. It's irritating because it highlights there's been kind of the statement for a while that like, oh, video games are a luxury hobby, which they hadn't been for a little while, but they used to be, and it seems like they kind of are again. And that's the thing, yeah, the prices have stayed pretty stable literally for the last 30 years. Video game prices have more or less been like $50 plus or minus 10 for most things. And so back in the SNES days, the games would be $60-$70, and like it would be upwards in that same ballpark of like, oh yeah, this the same money that you are spending on refurbished consoles now is what you would spend on a single video game at certain points in the history of games. The problem is, and it serves as yet another example of wages versus inflation. Inflation never really stops, or at least for us, it never really stops. And so the prices of the games finally moving in concert with that matches, the inflation of the last handful of years. It should arguably be even higher if it was going off inflation for anywhere earlier. The problem is that wages have stayed pretty stagnant for like 20 whatever years at this point. Actually, if you look at certain charts, they have been stagnant for like the last 40 years. Literally longer than I've been alive, wages have been kind of like slowing down and nearly stopping. The difference between inflation and it was basically the point where inflation and wages parted ways was thanks to good old Reagan. And so while the game prices are changing in a way that is reasonable on the inflation side, it's not reasonable on the wage side, which brings it all right back again to like minimum wage needs to be increased. Or UBI needs to be a thing, especially if people are trying to push robots and AI and shit on us. But that's a whole other conversation. I'm going to do the best I can keeping up with Switch 2 stuff, but it is pricey enough, and I'm still doing freelance too, that I'm going to have to specifically budget for individual games at this point. which is a real shame because not like I just did not give a shit when I was doing full-time engineering work, but the games were also cheap enough that it was like, yeah, sure, I'm just gonna buy a game. That's its own whole can of worms. Some stuff in here. Echoes of Wisdom. We have once again kind of let that fall by the wayside just because there's been so much other stuff going on. I know that the number of videos that have gone live have stayed pretty low. There's been a lot of behind the scenes stuff and a lot of big events happening. Like there's actually a whole bunch of videos. I'm hoping to get most, if not all, of the big videos that I've been sitting on done before the Switch comes out. And they're not necessarily big because they require a ton of editing from me exactly. It's more big as in they were things that required planning to get done in the first place, and now they just need an editing pass. For example, get rid of that now. The Capcom panel at PAX. I have to do a pass through of that because the camera is our audio. Excuse me, the camera is our audio source, which means that us speaking is a little bit on the low side, and then anytime people kind of hoot and holler and cheer, that gets very loud. So I'm trying to make sure that it is like passable levels of audio for that. We didn't have a good audio solution there, and I need to figure out if there's a way that I can do like an XLR pass through solution in the future for something like that. Or we just need to get lucky and be in a room that actually records the audio. Or streams. Hell, if they stream it, then I don't have to bring a camera at all. Then I'm good. But for the time being, we're 0 for 2 on that. So, yeah, the Capcom panel, the Mega Man X Race that I did last week. That one needs almost no editing at all. I'm just gonna put some timers in there. Just because it's fun to do that. Oh, I guess I also need to sync up. I need to grab the other 3 streams so that I can have those visible as well. Because I want to have like the side-by-side on that. What does that stand for? Oh, yes. And 2 videos that are technically kind of secret. One of which will just take kind of a pass-through level of audio, and the other one is going to be a little bit more involved. Oh, thank you, baby. Actually, can you pass that to me? I'll just take it there. That way it's not all the way over there. Thank you.
You just don't always trust that too.
No, I understand. I don't either. But yeah, so we got a handful of videos there. Reduced the number of string panel rooms, so now you'll have to land a panel with like Ginny Deer. Yeah, so we were in C. Was that Concord? I think we were in C, which was the same room that we were in for Condor. Yes, I think it's the same room we were in for U Game back in 2023. So I went in assuming that we were not going to have anything recorded or streamed. But yeah, one of these days, who knows? I just have to become best friends with like Grant Kirkhope or Ife Nwadwe or something, and then I will be in a streamed PAX panel. I'll become blood brothers with Dan Olson. But yeah, so Echoes of Wisdom. Yeah, Echoes of Wisdom. It still exists. We actually are hoping to record some this weekend. It's going to come down to what tomorrow is looking like for stuff. We have Sunday pretty much locked up in terms of what the plans are there. Saturday, though, we got a little bit of room, so we'll see. Not a lot to say so far. I feel like we're still so early in the game that it's hard to like get a good read on it. That said, I am doing my best to clear out older stuff, get some of that cruft out of the way so we can streamline a little bit better. And again, a lot of those bigger event things required a lot of planning, and those are now in the rear view mirror. So it is now easier to have space for the other stuff, which is really nice. Um, Pokemon, Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I was originally hoping to get the next gym fight up today, but I didn't have enough time to. I could have put it up, but it would have required either having the video go up like immediately before the Splatoon video or immediately after, and that would have, I feel like, clogged things up a little bit too much. Especially because the Splatoon video only went live like half an hour before this. So the goal is that the gym battle is going to go up as a YouTube premiere on Saturday, and the second face-off is going to go up as a YouTube premiere on Sunday. I don't think that we're going to have more. Let me double check real quick. I don't think we're going to have more for next week. I don't know that John is available this week for recording. But we'll be getting into chapter 3 when that happens. That'll be pretty good. Relatedly, Brilliant Diamond. We are so close to the end. We actually have 3 episodes that, the first one I guess went up today. That's right. I switched gears at the last second and went Brilliant Diamond. I can kind of put an episode somewhere and not have to worry about the fanfare of a premiere or anything. So that the first of the 3 that were still in the backlog went up today. I got 2 more for Saturday and Sunday. And then there's a little bit of, it's going to get mentioned when we actually get into the relevant video for it. But I think what we're going to wind up doing, I haven't done any actual grinding post Elite Four rematch, where we're doing the Stark Mountain stuff. And I think what I'm going to do, just because the amount of experience I've been getting from the trainer battles in Stark Mountain has been so high, I think what I'm going to do is no grinding, but I am going to fight all the trainers there, and that's going to be my pre-final Elite Four training. That is all that I'll allow myself, since I already am in the upper 80s to start with. So I'll probably be, my party will probably be in the realm of like 92-ish, I would guess. Maybe 93, I don't know. For that. So no grinding. I have to go back into the Grand Underground to get more mysterious shards, but there's only a few more left to get, and that doesn't require any battling, which is nice. But we are down to the last. If we have videos that go up every day, it'll be done before the end of next weekend, for sure. There's that little left to go, which will be great. It'll be so good to just send it off into the universe and have it done and be able to devote our time to some other stuff. Pokemon Insurgents may get some episodes next week. It's going to depend also on how tomorrow and Sunday are looking. Because that was the deal that I kind of made for myself, was the very least Insurgents was going to fill gaps whenever Heart Gold and Soul Silver were taking a week off. It's just gonna be a matter of how busy Saturday and Sunday get. Because if I've got people, then I'm gonna be prioritizing, stuff that they can do while they're here, which may include Insurgents. Depends, but it kind of all, it's all up in the air there. But Insurgents is not forgotten. It's still there on the dashboard. It's still there on the itinerary. And with Brilliant Diamond coming to an end, it frees up more space for both Insurgents and Super Mystery Dungeon, because I want to get back into that as well. Did we really only do 3 episodes of Mystery Dungeon? I thought we did more than that, but I guess not. Since the original set of 4, that is. Oop. Aha. Wow, fucking perfect timing. Okay. I got a fraud alert on my phone 4 minutes ago. Citizens fraud alert. Did you use card blank at walmart.com for a blank decline transaction? Yes, I did. Please charge that card now. If my order got canceled because of my bank's fraud detection thing going off once, I think I might actually lose my mind. I got paid this morning, so I was like, sweet, it's all situated. Nothing should be a problem now. I'm even going to go and double check that it didn't fuck some shit up. Because I want to be real damn sure, God damn it. How we doing over here? Please just actually charge it now. Well, regardless. But yeah, so that's kind of where Pokemon's at right now. I think I got everything. I don't think I left anything behind on that. Yeah. We're done with Shadow Generations. It finally happened. That one just like kept getting. It felt like it kept tripping on the rug in terms of getting it done editing wise, because every single episode of that, for the entire thing, we wound up having well in advance of when the videos actually went live. Some of it was just the size of the video wound up making it awkward to work with, like file size. And some of it, I think, was also like Premiere is starting to, my computer is starting to show its age a little bit, the GPU in particular. So I think I'm going to have to get on figuring out a solution for that fairly soon, because if all of my projects start to be a pain in the ass to work with, it's going to make it harder for me to get through them. But we're through Shadow Generations. We will be coming back around to Sonic Generations later on. I was going to fix my seat here. There we go. Better. But yeah, so we're moving on at long last. We're diving back into the past again and continuing with the actual timeline. I don't know if we'll be starting this week just because there's so many things in the air right now. But we will be starting on our next game very, very soon. Honestly, there's a chance that I intentionally kind of hang back on posting it, even if it gets recorded, until later on in June, just for the sake of kind of like hitting the ground running and, pushing through, getting a bunch of that in. But once we get that started, my goal is to just keep that moving as much as possible without stopping again, because that one, Sonic has been suffering a lot from like drag in the general like march forward on those games. I think some of that is because a lot of the games are not so good anymore, but I do want to make sure that we're actually like keeping that moving. Oh yeah, Eternal Darkness will be back very, very soon. Perhaps I think even Monday. Already got some recorded. We're recording some more this weekend. Everything goes well, then we'll be finishing it this weekend, but we'll see. My original thought was that we were going to do each of the 3 paths for it, but I don't think that's going to be very necessary. The differences are pretty minor. It does generally make the game harder to do each of those, and when you play the oh god, is it Uliouth? That's because what is it? It's Chaturga is the red one. No, Uliouth I think is the blue one. I forget what the green one is then. Whichever the green god is, having all the sanity effects does have some interesting, effects on it. But the differences in how the game like works are pretty minimal. There is a different ending if you've done all 3, but I think just the fact that it would, this would require it would make it like a well over 100 episode series, and just scheduling like that would just be a nightmare. So I think rather than trying to force that, especially because the differences are so minor, I think we're just going to leave it after the first playthrough, and call it there. Unless Jeff and Dave are like really itching to do another run, which I don't think they are. Not that they're not enjoying it; they are enjoying it, but I don't think that they're going to be like, yes, let's do it again. But all goes well, we'll be getting into that and wrapping it up, and we'll be getting all those out to you guys. Star Force 3. We have recorded more Star Force 3. It has happened. I don't know if we're going to be able to record some more this weekend, but we do have some. You should actually expect to see the first of those tomorrow. And we're plowing through the post game. We've been cruising in the last couple episodes, and that gets maintained through this one for the most part. Though we're starting to hit the friction point of the post game, where it's like, okay, well now we really have to start fighting bosses. So I think that's where stuff is going to slow down a little bit. But who knows? We might hit a hot streak there too. We're at a spot where we have to collect more battle cards, just generally. So we're gonna have some grinding in one regard or another. Kingdom Hearts. Hopefully, folks enjoyed our Kingdom Hearts key back cover video. It was nice to be able to wrap up the keylogy, as it were. It did wind up informing a lot of stuff from Key and Unchained Key for sure. Any idea when the recent CPAD VODs we'll get to the channel? Hopefully very soon. I put together a script for both Hexen and Hexen 2 for CJ, and we were planning to record it, but we wound up just kind of hanging out when I was in Boston. And by the time we did that, and I worked on fixing some of his stream stuff, which it like seems half fixed. I need to figure out what else is going on there. But by the time that was done, it was like, I need to go catch my train to come back home. So I have an alternative thing that may involve him recording himself for the intro, but all of those are downloaded. In fact, the first like dozen of both Hexen and the next dozen Cult of the Lamb VODs are all already online, but not public until the first ones go up. And like we could arguably not worry about intros for these, but I think CJ does also enjoy the theatric elements of the intros and things. So I want to make sure that it's coming out in a way that he is happy with too. But hopefully very soon. I gotta message him this weekend to see what he wants to do about that, because I don't know. The next time, I actually don't know when I'm going to be in the Boston area next, so I don't know how long it'll be till I can get out to him. But there was a talk at some point about possibly him and Felice coming out here. So maybe there could be something that's done then, but I don't know that. I know that like with Doom the Dark Ages out and him starting to stream that like it would be good to start getting these videos out as soon as possible, you know? So I want to figure out the intro stuff with him as soon as I can. And then those will be going live. And as soon as they start going live, I think the plan is there's going to be a Hexen and a Cult of the Lamb stream going up each day until we are caught up, because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of those that are in there. I think we're literally going to put up one a day until they're caught up. And I've got a pretty good backlog of them ready to go. Like I was mentioning, at least a week, if not two, of those are already online. It may be slightly oversaturating. I'm a little worried about that. But also the alternative is to take longer to get to Doom the Dark Ages. And I think CJ would probably prefer to just get the videos up and get to Doom sooner. So we're gonna blow through those to like get them up online, get them in front of folks, and then we'll be able to get into the new stuff. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts. Uh, the three key things are now done. Although Union Cross and Dark Road are both in our future. But in the meantime, we're going to be digging into Kingdom Hearts, my favorite title in the series. Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Birth by Sleep, a fragmentary passage. We're going to be digging. I think we're going to be digging into that tomorrow. The videos will probably not go up until next weekend. Just because I don't think that I will have time to edit them day of with the other stuff that needs editing. We'll see. It's entirely possible. It really depends how the day is going, to be dead honest. But I also have to put together like intro, outro stuff, which includes a brand new type of outro now that we're doing our Patreon like support credits in a different way from how we were the last time we did Kingdom Hearts. So I have to figure out how that's going to look and how that's going to feel. It is, I mean, to be fair, that is the least normal title out of all of them. Yeah, closely followed by 358 Days Over 2. Yeah, we talked about Super Mystery Dungeon. And then I think that's it. As for streams, I'm back into Brawl. We've been doing those. I actually have quite a few Mario Party Madness and related things going on for two reasons. One, because we're now just kind of back in season for it. And two, because the Switch 2 is coming out, and so everybody's hyped up about that. I'm currently scheduled for this coming Monday a Mario Kart DS stream. I'm actually going to be doing a podcast with Shell Shock on another one on Sunday. We're going to talk about Nickelodeon. Saturday the 14th, we were doing a Mario Party Madness for Zach Pack's birthday. And that's going to be a good one. I believe we're going to have Nintendo Fangirl in the group of players for that, which will be fun. I was so bummed I had to miss out. Triss and I had both been commenting like we have to get Sam into Mario Party Madness at some point because she'd have a blast with it. And then it finally happened, and I'm in there's the sort of like an icebreaker crew, the folks who are kind of like helping sort of onboard new players basically, and I am in there. And the night that wound up getting landed on for her icebreaker game wound up being the night of the the night of the Mega Man X race. It just happened to be the same night, and I was just like, oh shit. Of course, damn it. So I missed out on that, but we'll be getting her in for that game. July 7th. There is going to be a Madness that I'm going to keep the details withheld for now, but that's going to be a fun one. I thought there was another one. I know that I'm pretty sure. Oh, there's next Thursday for the Switch 2 launch. There's going to be a big Mario Kart World stream thing going on. Details are still being hashed out for it, but I believe that's going to be at 7 o'clock. I don't know that I'm going to be in there that whole time. I might be in there for like an hour and then dipping because, like I mentioned, Sarah and my anniversary, and it's a real bummer that everybody is piling on to that date. I was assuming prior to the launch date getting announced, it was like, all right, cool, it's just gonna be quiet night, hanging out, relaxing. And now it's like, oh, what if everybody else also tries to schedule stuff on there? It's like, great, cool, awesome. But yeah, there's a handful of those going on. There's actually fewer Mario Party streams in the immediate future than I was thinking. Yeah, because after the 2nd, I'm actually not. There's actually no Mondays for me until July 7th. I thought for sure that I was in like 3 or 4 in a row. In fact, I'm actually gonna check. Let me check the schedule real quick just to be very sure. Yeah, Saturday, June 14th. Thursday, June 5th. Monday, June 2nd. Yeah, I guess that's it. I guess that might be it. I thought there were others, but I guess not. So, all right. I don't have to be as worried about it, I suppose. Yeah, so that's not so bad, actually. Um, but yeah, there may be a few, and there might be some other ones that get dropped in because of the Switch 2 and because of like Mario Party Super Mario Party Jamboree Plus, Jamboree TV, Nintendo Switch 2 edition, yada yada yada. I know that there's plans to do stuff with that. Um, so it's gonna be in flux a little bit, but at the very least, until June, I'm only gonna be streaming Brawl outside of Mario Party based stuff, and then Sonic Weekathon 5 is going to be happening in June, or starting in June. It's probably going to be June into July. Once that is done, once that is wrapped up, or at the very least, regardless of if there are, with the assumption that there's not weird like things that stretch it out, but when that's done, if it gets stretched out by the end of July, we'll be getting into Metroid Prime. Be getting into the Metroid Prime games on the road to Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. So yeah, so that's where stuff. I know that Jeff and Dave is planning on getting back into streaming very, very soon. I think he's trying to figure out exactly what he's doing for it. Jeff, I think, is also planning on getting back into it, maybe not quite as fast. Sorry, I'm just digging into a little bit of my food before it gets cold. But yeah, it's going to be nice kind of getting everybody back into stuff again. Obviously, and CJ and Felice. CJ playing Doom the Dark Ages, Felice playing more Cult of the Lamb. I don't know how long Cult of the Lamb is going to ultimately go for. I think they are getting moderately close to the end, but they've been much more focused on the actual like cult building portion. So who knows? But they're having a blast with it. I know Jeff has talked about trying to get Multiplayer Sunday up and running again fairly soon. So I don't know if it's going to happen before the end of June, but it's something to kind of keep an eye out for. I didn't even think about it at the time, but I'm probably going to recommend to him that he tries to wait until Doom the Dark Ages is done first, just because, brand new game, give CJ a chance to get some serious spotlight in there, and also not making him like wait 2 weeks or pick up random days to keep it going. Because the other games, if he wants to do like a random day of the week, if he wants to do a random day of the week for Doom also, I don't think that's a problem. But the regularity, I think, is probably going to be very helpful for him with that. Afterwards, I think he's probably going to be a lot more flexible, though. So, oh boy. I think I might start winding this down kind of soon, actually. Both one, because I do want to eat, and two, getting a little bit of a breather before movie night is probably a good call. Just the setup is much faster now. Actually, I do have the 2-screen setup figured out as of the Majora's Marathon stream, which I'm also trying to edit together. I'm hoping that I can have those up for the weekend of the 14th of June. It's just a huge amount of stuff to pull together. It's literally almost half a terabyte of video, which makes it really unwieldy to do editing things on. And there's not a ton of editing, but like I have to fix audio from the first 36 hours because we didn't realize that we only had one mic going. So when Sarah came down, she was not audible. So I'm trying to fix as much of that audio as I can. There was also, what else? I've got a cycle counter. That's easy though. That one takes no time at all. Um, and there was one other thing. Oh, because I'm putting out a couple different editions of it over time, so I'm trying to be careful about subdividing things correctly and syncing things correctly so they don't like stutter. Um, but it is coming along. So I'm hoping. I was originally hoping to have it out this weekend in my last like push for it, but getting the Splatoon video took higher priority. Next weekend, I think I want to focus more on getting ready for and producing the Switch 2 videos. So the less friction there is for that, the better. The weekend after that, I'm more likely to start having stuff. And honestly, even then, there's a good chance it might not be then, just because it's so much to do before then. But we will see. But yeah, I think we're gonna call it there. Hopefully the 7 o'clock feels okay as a start time for this. It's kind of experimental for the time being. It does give a little more breathing room to both the Hangout and to the community night, I think. And yeah, I because I just thought like I felt like I was rushing through some of this stuff, and we've been in for an hour and a half. Versus if we were trying to start at 8 and be ready as close to 9 as possible, I would have been like whipping through this stuff. So, not bad for you at least. All right, that's good to know. That is good to know. The feedback does help. I definitely I don't know if the suggestion box channel or the Patreon club channel serve the purposes on their own, or if like having an actual dedicated feedback thing makes sense. But also, I guess for Patreon stuff, the Patreon club channel is best for feedback. Easiest place to give feedback on other stuff is probably literally just randomly in the Discord or on videos, right? So yeah. But yeah, no, I think we're gonna try this again for next month. You can see right there. Planning on doing June 27th, 7 p.m. Eastern. Same basically as we've done here. We've got our final Digimon Adventure 01 night coming up on June 13th. We are finishing the Dark Master's arc, and relatedly also finishing the first series or season. I think technically it'd be series. And then, yeah, we'll have a poll up for the next community night very soon. Tonight, we're going to be watching The Dark Crystal and Labyrinth, a nice pairing of creepy, off-putting Jim Henson products. A little harsh for Labyrinth. When's the last time you saw the supporting cast of that movie?
I actually only first watched that like maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
So I remember it pretty clearly.
She is.
Yeah, the goblins are all weird and creepy, but like I don't know if that's quite fair.
I still have pretty sharp memory of the Tunnel of Hands, and the little fire goblins, and there's a. What's that? Yes, yep, the Bog of Eternal Stench. That's right. But yeah, so we're doing both of those tonight. July 11th, we'll be doing another Digimon night. We should be getting into Digimon Adventure 02. Yeah, she chows down. She chows down. Great opportunity for Henson's puppeteers to all do hand puppeting for a little while. And then, yeah, I think our next Patreon hangout after June is going to be on August 1st, because Sarah and I are going to be away on vacation for the last week of July. And I think I've already got like a bunch of stuff going on the weekend before that. Like, I think we're doing a bunch of Mario Party Madness stuff like the weekend of the 18th. So August 1st after June 27th will be our next two Patreon hangouts. I've got events up for a bunch of this stuff. I'm gonna try to limit the events to the next month's worth of stuff for things that repeat, and major events like Extra Life. I've got Extra Life Day in there just because it's it's a known date already. But yeah, if anyone watching the VOD wants to know more about this, you can head to patreon.com/gpadfm. I'm planning on updating it soon. I think there's some tweaks, not so much to the tiers, but just to the general presentation of it. So I want to adjust that. And yeah, we'll catch you later. Have a very good night, and we'll see some of you guys for the movies. See you later. Bye.